Welcome back, everybody, and we're back for another edition of Beyond the Mat podcast. It's me, it's that MATT, and we're here again to talk about professional wrestling. And I'll be joined momentarily by the one, the only, one of the pillars of Wrestletok himself. We have Heel Kevin joining us here in a few minutes, and potentially another guest along the way. And speak of the devil, we have he will be here right next to me in a few short moments. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep, we are good. Welcome to the show again.
Oh wait, we're already live?
Yeah, we're good.
My bad, man.
You're good. You're good. Hey, it's better you be late than me be late. You know what I mean? So
hey, my bad, man. I'm only late by like 2 minutes though.
2 minutes. 2 minutes is the general theme for football teams that you like too. Apparently.
What you trying to say, man? What you trying to say? Just like I told my wife, I'm just like the Buckeyes. I only need 5 seconds.
So, no, I was referring to you guys losing to the Colts this weekend. That was.
I'm leaving. I'm
leaving.
We're just gonna act like that offense, that defensive pass interference that every NFL expert said should have been called. That wasn't called. That would have given the Ravens the first down in Justin Tucker's field goal range. We're gonna act like that didn't happen.
Well, I mean,
I will say this though: the Ravens should have never allowed them to hang around that long. The fact that they were even in that position, you were absolutely right. I'm not taking it away from them. They lost. The Ravens lost. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Gene Steratore and every single NFL professional, an expert and an analyst was like, yeah, that's clearly pass interference. He completely turned Zay Flowers' body. Should have been called. Would have gave him first down in Justin Tucker field goal range. But the Ravens shouldn't have let it go on that long.
Well, at least it wasn't against my Pittsburgh Steelers, right? I mean,
you got one more time to say that, and I swear to God, I'll never come back. You're saying you're Pittsburgh Steelers, and you're wearing a Detroit sweatshirt.
Yes. I'm allowed to root for more than one team, right?
Mayweather fans, I swear.
No, don't put that on me. I can't stand that guy.
No, it's not a fan of Floyd Mayweather. It's a phrase, as in you guys always go for who's popular.
Hey, I'm going to explain to you why I'm a fan of the 3 teams I'm a fan of.
3 teams.
Detroit, home state.
3 teams.
Yes, I have 3 teams.
I'm listening.
The Lions, because I'm from Michigan. I have to. It's just how it is. And I don't think I missed a game in 20, 30 years.
Okay?
I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan from way back when they had Christian Okoye. Hey, listen, Christian Okoye.
Of course he is. Of course he's a Kansas City fan. And I bet you've been jamming out to Taylor Swift all day. Are you a Swiftie, Matt? Are you a Swiftie?
No, unfortunately,
what's wrong with being a Swiftie, Matt?
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's some of her songs I don't mind, but I don't like her because she's dating Travis Kelce. No.
Let's continue with why you're a fan of Patrick Mahomes. Oh, I'm sorry, the Kansas City Chiefs.
I was a fan of Kansas City before Patrick Mahomes came along.
Sure you were.
Do you know a guy by the name of Christian Okoye, David Craig?
Yeah, I do. Because I've actually watched football.
Derek Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah. I was a fan of them like back when they played. Tony Gonzalez, all those guys.
Hey, Matt, I have a goldfish. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about things no one gave a fuck about.
Wow. I guess I shouldn't have shat on the Ravens for losing to a
You
awful
probably
Colts
shouldn't
team.
have.
Anyway, and I'm a Steelers fan because they were on my TV. Listen, they were on my TV every Sunday because of regional broadcasting before I was able to get cable television. So they just became, and I was a Bill Cowher fan. I love Bill Cowher as a head coach.
Okay, so here's a little bit of Steelers trivia for you. Do you know why the Steelers logo is what it is?
That I can't tell you.
On top of that, do you know why the Steelers are the only team in the NFL that only has their logo on one side of the helmet, not both?
You're gonna school me on this one, so go ahead.
So the Steelers logo was originated because the people who were obviously the steel mills, they couldn't read. Like that, I'm not making a joke. That's legitimately what it was. People were leaving school and going to join the steel mill to make money, and they couldn't read. So what they did was there's 3 raw ingredients when you make steel. I forget what they are, but one's like raw steel, one's another chemical, and then one is the finished product. And each ingredient had a different colored diamond on it. So raw steel was a red diamond. The chemical was a yellow diamond. The finished product was a blue diamond. So that told them, for the people who couldn't read, what stack to either pull from or to put their stuff in, because, again, they couldn't read. So when they came up with the Steelers, they combined those 3 diamonds, those 3 colors, and that's how you got the Pittsburgh Steelers logo. Now, the reason they only have the logo on one side of the helmet, it was a massive, massive, massive misprint. It was supposed to be on both sides of the helmet, but when they were filing the patents and everything and submitting the logo, they didn't, they checked the wrong box. There was a box on the form because at the time you were able to have 2 different logos. You can have one on the right, one on the left. So they put the Steelers logo and they put left side or right side or whatever it was, and they never put anything on the other side. And after they received the helmets, it was going to cost way too much money to send them back, have them put it on the other side, and come back. So they just left it as a misprint.
Nice. Okay.
I know more about your team than you do.
No. I mean,
I guess that's what happens when you have to divide your attention amongst 3 teams. Facts. I will say this. Hey, I'm not a Detroit Lions. Actually, I am a Detroit Lions fan for many reasons. For 2 main reasons. Number 1, Dan Campbell. If that man ran for president today, I'd freaking vote for him. In Dan Campbell, we trust. But the main reason I'm a Detroit Lions fan, and I'll go and grab it for you. I have a really cool piece of Lions memorabilia that I don't think a lot of fans have, and you'll probably lose your mind over this. While I'm looking for it, name some of the key moments in Lions history. That's exactly what I thought. None.
I mean, getting screwed over by every referee in the league. Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so the reason I am a Detroit Lions fan, and the piece of memorabilia, which, by the way, is authenticated, sticker of authenticity, is this picture of Justin Tucker, because it's the day he set the NFL record for the longest field goal in NFL history against the Detroit Lions on their field. Not to mention, Matt, before this one happened, before the longest field goal in NFL history, Justin Tucker had the second longest field goal. So he now holds the record for the first and the third longest. Do you want to take a guess at who the other one was against? The third longest field goal in NFL history? It was against the Lions. Both of them on their field. So thank you, Lions, for making Ravens history. As you were, Matthew. As you were.
All right. Shall I refer to you for going forward as Cody Cornett Light? Because you...
I swear to God, I'll quit right now. I swear to God, I'll quit right now.
I'm a glutton for punishment today.
Clearly.
So, moving along.
Now we can officially start the show. Don't
now that we got that rant.
Don't attack my Ravens right out the gate like that, Matt. It is not a smart idea.
Okay, fair enough. I guess you're as passionate about them as I am about the Michigan Wolverines, and that's a story for a different day.
I'm sorry. That team just triggers a gag reflex.
Now, see, that's exact that sound that you just made sounded like those people, those jackasses.
You know, Ohio runs the ball down your throat.
Week.
Yeah, I know. It sounds exactly like that.
Who ran the ball down whose throat last 2 years?
We're about to. So y'all ain't winning this year. Look, y'all can talk about the last 2 years. Who leads the series?
We do.
Semantics.
Give or take.
This is fun, man.
So Cody wanted to know. Not in the chat. He sent me a message. He goes, "Do you mind if I am your special guest this week?" Because he would love an opportunity to be on the same show as you.
Cody and I have never been on the same screen together.
That's what he was saying. So
we were for like 30 seconds.
Cody, if you're out there and you'd like your official season 2 spot, my brother had other things he has to deal with. It's time. You'll get grilled by both of us. This is question and answer time. Kevin and I are going to be asking the questions. So if you want the hot seat, let me know. He said, bring it.
Matt, you're volunteering me for stuff.
Well, I mean,
I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. What I meant was you're saying that we're going to be asking questions. I have no questions prepared.
Well, I mean, sometimes that's the best. That's the best run at it. Off the dome, because I know you're smart like that.
Yeah, because I'm not a fucking Michigan fan.
Jesus Christ, I'm telling you what. So, hold on. So when's the last time you guys had a Heisman winner?
When's the last time you guys had a national championship?
97.
Yeah, we've first ever college playoffs champions. First ever. You're gonna
be hanging your head on that.
First ever. It doesn't matter who happens next. There's only ever going to be one first, and it was us. Beat Alabama.
Winningest program in NCAA
Beat
history.
Oregon.
Who is it? Yeah.
Hey, who's that wrestler that always does like this, and everybody goes, "Baby"?
Yeah, it's Adam Cole.
No, it's not. It's not Adam Cole. You know who it is?
It's Ryan Day, baby.
Why do I gotta be on bottom? This big sweaty motherfucker on top of me. Why am I on the bottom?
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Cody, be honest. You've been sitting all morning. Shut up.
You're not, well, actually not all morning. I have to get out of the truck to move the pallets off the truck to the place that I go to.
Don't let him lie to you. Don't let him lie to you.
What are you talking about? I'm not lying.
Now, how do I readjust this?
There.
That's better.
Now, Kevin, because I respect you and I respect Matt, I will be on my semi-best behavior.
Fuck that. If you're going to do something, just be yourself.
No, I will
Can you hear
still be myself. I just
Good.
because I know how you like treat this as your job because you have to. I don't want to say anything that would associate you in a bad light.
I'll take care of it right now. Anybody watching this, Cody doesn't speak for me and I don't speak for him. His opinions are his, mine are mine. Say what you want to say.
Okay, there. That's all I need.
Now I caught a lot of. We'll start off with a big one, and I caught a lot of heat yesterday on TikTok.
Can I just say something real quick? Kevin, I agreed with everything you said about last week about Josh Allen.
Okay.
Can we now say Lamar Jackson is overhyped as well?
I don't think we can, not just yet. I think we're getting there, but I don't think we can because even still, Josh Allen and Kirk Cousins have both started games with their best players without injuries. To this point, he has not had a game with Odell Beckham and Mark Andrews in the same game. When that happens, if he still drops the ball, absolutely, I'll be the first one to say it. But if we're going to compare them, we need to compare them when they're at their best. We've seen Kirk Cousins at his best. We've seen Josh Allen at his best. We haven't had the opportunity because of the injuries. Now, that doesn't take away. You take a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who had to deal without Travis Kelce, lost to the Lions. But key players are able to make those decisions when their key players are gone to find someone to make the play. So that's why I say we're getting there. But if he still continues to drop the ball when there are no excuses, when you have Odell, when you have Zay Flowers, when you have Isaiah Likely, when you have Mark Andrews, to this day, Mark Andrews is stat for stat the second best tight end in the league, only outdone by Travis Kelce. And it's by a very minimalistic window.
Right.
So when you have that key player in there, if you still can't get the job done, then yes, we can absolutely have that conversation.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Matt, continue on with your show. I'm sorry for taking over.
No, you're fine. So the topic that I got so much heat for was my statement about Jade Cargill coming to WWE.
Okay.
I was asked what my thoughts were, and I said she was a watered down Bianca Belair. Now, I want we'll start with Cody and see what his opinions are, and then we'll swing it back up to you, or we can go vice versa.
Go ahead, Cody.
Well, I want to go back to what happened last week because Kevin said that Jade Cargill wrestles like a wet napkin.
Yep.
Do you believe Goldberg also wrestles like a wet napkin?
Yep.
Okay. Because those are the two comparables right there. Because Jade Cargill, if you put her in a 15-minute wrestling match, she will be exposed more than any woman on Brazzers. It is just so weird, how Jade Cargill in 2 years in AEW went only 50-0 and then took 2 losses and then said, sayonara, I'm out, bitches. That's A, weird, and B, they did the right thing by giving her the Goldberg streak because she doesn't have much wrestling ability. Now, to your comment, Matt, saying that she's Bianca Belair light or a watered down version.
No, watered down. Yeah.
Right. A watered down version of it. I can't really agree with that because Bianca Belair could actually fucking wrestle.
That's questionable.
Questionable at best, yes, but she has had bright spots, especially against Charlotte and against Becky Lynch 2 years ago at WrestleMania.
So 2 of the greatest to ever do it. She had a good match, or had a couple spots with 2 of the best in the game.
Those are just 2 examples that I can come up with off the top of my head. If I watched all of her matches, I could probably find a few more.
I could look pretty damn good against a guy like Seth Rollins. I've never even laced up the boots. Seth Rollins could
wrestle the broomstick.
Could wrestle a mop tonight.
He could actually wrestle a blow-up doll and make it look good, unlike Omega and Ibushi. So, there's that.
Is my turn?
Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't think Jade Cargill is comparable to Goldberg. I think Jade Cargill is comparable to The Undertaker.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And you actually proved my point without knowing it. So how about you sit down and shut up like I did while you were talking nonsense?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna listen.
Okay, so
I'm just shocked.
I completely stand by my comment that in AEW, Jade Cargill wrestled like a wet napkin. She had an amazing look. She had an amazing theme song. And she was put into these big situations where more times than not, she kind of fell short of the bar. I don't necessarily think the 2 losses have anything to do with her leaving. I think her leaving had to do with the 2 losses. They knew she was going to leave. They knew she was being offered. They knew she was going to go, so they had to pass the torch, so to speak. So I don't want to say she got mad because she lost. I want to say that they were mad she was leaving, so they made her lose. Which, again, nothing wrong with that. You have somebody leaving your company. You need to make somebody within the company look strong. It's been done throughout the course of time. Now, let's talk about Jade Cargill in WWE. The reason I think she was a wet napkin in AEW, you look at anybody who's gone to AEW, Moxley, Swerve, Brian Cage, literally just about anybody not named Bryan Danielson. And there's a noticeable difference from what they were to now what they are. Iron sharpens iron. And without that iron, the opposite opposing iron, you're going to get dull. Case and point. Look how amazing Isaiah Swerve Scott was. And look how dull Swerve Strickland is. When he was in WWE, he had grade A talent to keep him sharp. The battles with Santos Escobar immediately come to mind. The battles with Bronson Reed come to mind. He doesn't get that level of competition in AEW, wrestling Darby Allin and losing 30 fucking times. So I say that to say this. You plug Jade Cargill in somewhere where there's an actual performance center, where there are the best talent in the world who are held to a certain standard. That iron is going to sharpen that iron. And I do think Jade Cargill is iron in the making. I do think she is going to be better now that she is in a system that will allow her to be better. You look at any one of us. Cody, obviously you're a truck driver. Before you were ever a truck driver, before you learned how to drive a truck, when you were 11 years old, if I threw you into a semi and said, hey, back it in over there, you probably wouldn't have known your ass from your fucking elbow. But
I wouldn't have, no.
You learned how to do it. You got the training on it. And now you can. Jade is the same way. She was put into something she wasn't trained to do. Now she's going to get that training. And I think she's going to learn how to wrestle like a big woman wrestler. And I think she's going to do fine. Now, the reason I say I draw comparisons between her and The Undertaker. The Undertaker, in my opinion, was never an A+ wrestler. He was an A+ character and a B- to C+ wrestler at best. Think of all of his good matches. And Cody, this is the exact point you just made about Bianca Belair. Think of all the great, if you could think of an outstanding match The Undertaker had, whether it be at WrestleMania, SmackDown, anywhere, if you can think of one really, 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 really good match The Undertaker had, raise your hand right now. Now, if that match involved a main eventer like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Mankind, or somebody else who could carry a match, put your hand down. Who?
What the fuck was his name? The Russian, Vladimir Kozlov. Random SmackDown. I thought that was fantastic. I thought that was done very well.
Wrestling is subjective, and we all have our own opinions. Very well. Very, very well. For most people, they'll put their hand down because The Undertaker was never good at carrying a match. He was good at being carried. He was good at being able to feed off of his opponent. He was good at being able to bring the character that his opponent needed. But whenever he faced Mabel, Gonzaga, Kane, and numerous others, those matches always fell short. But when you have somebody in there who can be that guy, like a Triple H, like a Shawn Michaels, like an Edge, those matches were always by and far better. That's why I draw those comparisons. When you put her with somebody who can go, like Matt said, one of the best, it's going to be a good match because they're not talented. They're just not as talented. They have enough talent to listen, to follow, to match what that person is doing. But when it's put on them to be that person, it generally falls short. Now, that could be that the people they were wrestling weren't able to listen and do the things they were supposed to do. It goes both ways. But those are the reasons I draw the comparisons to The Undertaker.
Now, when you say that Taker could never carry a star or make a star,
I didn't say make.
Make a star, not make a star. You can't carry. You never carried the match, is what you said.
A singular match. I'm not talking about a feud. I'm not talking about a storyline. I'm not talking about a character. I'm talking about a singular match.
Right. So you're saying like, that was obvious with Bundy, Gonzalez, like
Big
Mabel.
Show.
I disagree a little bit, but that's fine. But with like Diesel and like you said, Edge, Michaels, Triple H, Brett, Mankind, hell, even Goldust for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I would say that they carried some of the match, but I think he put his part in. I wouldn't say that he let them carry the match.
No, absolutely. When I say carried the match, I don't necessarily mean they put him in a chair and carried him. I mean, he had something to feed off of. He had something to go with. He had somebody to bring that out in him, to make him want to be better, to make him want to do better, to make him perform better. I'm not saying that they said, lift up your right arm, put your right arm in, take your right arm out, do the hokey pokey and turn your fucking self about. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when put with somebody who knew how to draw it out, he was able to draw it out.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. So what happens?
Psychology, let's say like that.
Okay. So what happens if she gets shot up straight to the main roster and doesn't do developmental?
I think she should go to the main roster.
Really?
Yes.
So, okay. So you're saying that she should have a little bit of training and go right to the main roster?
Nope. Not what I'm saying at all.
Not even that. Just go straight. No, I'm not. I mean, like, obviously she's not going to be in NXT with the training. I'm saying she's going to train in the Performance Center for however long they want her to train.
Roster. I think she should go to the main roster, and every day she's not on TV, be at the Performance Center. So when you said a little bit of training, no, I do think a lot of training.
Okay.
But every day she's not on TV, be at the Performance Center, learning and getting better, sharpening those tools. Think about it. When have you ever seen somebody come into NXT that had this much publicity about them? They're on podcasts. They're releasing it on Twitter. They're dropping it early. They're telling you this person is here. Aside from Shinsuke Nakamura, when's the last time that happened in No, what I'm saying is, when's the last time that happened in NXT talent?
Oh, the NXT talent. Give me a second.
Shinsuke was the last one.
Maybe Kenta?
No, Kenta didn't have publicity.
He had a little bit.
Yeah, but not to the point where ESPN's picking it up.
Exactly my point. They don't do that for people who go to NXT.
Nah, I guess the closest thing to that would be Gable Steveson, but he was an NIL deal. He wasn't.
That had the Olympics around it and all that.
Yeah, I know. That's like but that's like the closest thing.
Any decision he made, if he decided he wanted to go churn butter in Acapulco, they would have covered that shit on ESPN.
You're not inaccurate.
Yeah. So to follow up that, so we have our first AEW to WWE talent. Now, who's next?
First,
who after
Cody Rhodes ring a bell?
Yeah, but he was WWE before AEW.
Was he though? Was this Cody in WWE before?
No.
Well, he said it himself. No.
Okay, so.
Okay, what about William Regal?
Does that count though?
It does. He was under an AEW contract and he left AEW to go back to WWE.
Yeah, but he's an agent.
Now, if we're talking about
what I'm trying to say is who's next?
Ricky Starks.
Oh, fuck that.
Okay,
he should stay in AEW.
He's been very vocal that he's leaving the company. He's been very vocal that he's pursuing other options. He's one of Cody's best friends. Cody clearly has sway in the company. Now, has that changed with the Endeavor deal? I don't know.
Probably.
All of this was said before Endeavor. But if I had to take a guess, and I was a betting man, which I'm not because I like my money and I don't like to lose it. But if I were a betting man, I would say we're looking at Ricky Starks. I would love for that answer to be Brian Cage, but it's not.
Really?
Yes.
Do you think he would be better in the WWE system than what he is in the indie system than what it is now?
Considering what he was starting to become an Impact, absolutely.
That's fair. Okay.
You take early Brian Cage from Lucha Underground and you look at the advancements to him from Lucha Underground to Impact, it's night and day different. That's normally the jump people make from indies to WWE. He was more polished. His timing was better. His positioning's better.
Yeah.
He would still whip out those cruiserweight moves, but he wrestled like a big man. I think you put Brian Cage in a Brock Lesnar segment with Brock, so Brock can teach him how big men wrestle. I think he does phenomenal. There was a match Brock had not too long ago. Who was it? It wasn't Roman. It was a bigger guy.
Omos?
Braun Strowman. When he wrestled Braun Strowman before that, Braun Strowman really wasn't kind of hitting on the same level. He worked the program with Lesnar, and say what you want about Lesnar, not you guys, but just people in general. Say what you want about Brock Lesnar. There's a lot of things he does that we don't agree with, but one thing that I think he's always done is he's taught big men how to wrestle like big men. So you take Brian Cage, you work him with Lesnar for a little bit, pay Lesnar whatever money you want, and then you have a big badass guy. No, it wasn't Strowman, it was Lashley. It was fucking Bobby Lashley. Look at Bobby Lashley now compared to what he was before he wrestled Lesnar. He will teach somebody how to wrestle like a big man. And I think if you give Brian Cage that opportunity, he will fucking thrive because he's already shown that he has the ability to grow from Lucha Underground to Impact. You give him those tools, just like with Jade Cargill, I think you'll be very impressed in what you get.
To be perfectly honest, it's sad to say, but I don't really want, even MJF, I don't want anybody to move from AEW to WWE. I don't see an upside to anybody going to WWE other than learning the craft, to learning the craft, because Jade Cargill, Ricky Starks, plethora of others have gone on interviews and said,
you don't see the upside of a House of Black versus Judgment Day feud?
No, because they wouldn't bring in House of
crack.
Well, hold on. The reason is because they wouldn't bring in House of Black.
I'm saying if they did, this isn't a factual question. This is a hypothetical. This is a opinionated question. In my opinion, if they did take the House of Black, there's plenty of market value there.
I feel like they would change it.
Maybe they would. But again, hypothetically, if they didn't change it.
If they didn't change it, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. But that's the thing. I'm trying to think every time it's a hypothetical, I still try to think realistically. And it's like House of Black may not even be House of Black. They may take all three parts and separate them and give Brody King the biggest fucking run of anybody's life, because that man deserves a single title run. And I stand by that 100%.
But let's look at what wrestling is in and of itself. What is wrestling? It is the suspension of our belief. It is our ability to say this is in this box is everything we know that is real and true about life. And for 3 hours on a Monday night, we're going to set this over here and not worry about what's real. And we're going to get lost in this story. So wrestling by itself is a suspension of disbelief in a hypothetical situation in itself. So if we can't entertain the hypothetical in pro wrestling, where can we entertain the hypothetical?
I see what you did there.
This is why he never wanted to be on screen with me.
No, I see what you did there, and it is impressive.
Finally, someone shut the guy up. Finally, someone shut him up.
Yes, I agree with you that just in that alone is a hypothetical itself. But I'm trying to, in the hypothetical, take bits and pieces of what has gone on in the businesses in general and just apply it to the hypothetical.
And I get that. I get that 100%. You know what's not hypothetical? This Glowberry Prime fucking slaps. Huge shout out to Prime for being a sponsor of mine. This shit's awesome. Thank you for sending me a case of it. This shit is great.
What a fucking cheap plug. I love it.
Hey, I got to get mine in when I can, man.
But here's the thing.
That's actually...
Wait, label out. Sorry, Logan. Sorry, label out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for sponsoring me.
The thing is that I don't see an upside to any AEW talent that wasn't from WWE in the first place.
No, I get that.
Like in MJF, I would love to see him in WWE. I don't think the WWE Endeavor TKO merger, whatever the hell you want to call it, is going to be good for him in the long run.
I don't know.
Because he's not going to be able to spout out the mouth like he did against Adam Cole just randomly when they were friends and said, "You're so skinny and white that if this was the 80s, Hogan would snort you." That would never make it across television in the WWE.
Well, I think we have to look at it a different way. Again, we're entertaining hypotheticals. We've heard plenty of UFC fighters say that kind of stuff. A company that was already owned by Endeavor. The reason that stuff never went over is because Vince isn't the boss anymore. So if we're going to base what future promos could look like, I think we have to look more at what the UFC fighters say than what WWE has traditionally said. And if we're looking at it like that, there's no reason it couldn't happen. I don't think it will because Vince is still a shareholder. Triple H is still in charge of creative. So I'm still not saying it would happen. I'm saying it's not impossible anymore.
Right, but I'm saying it's a little bit impossible because of WWE's ties to their advertisers and sponsorships, and that they have weekly television shows that can be shown across all different types of media. If you want to find a UFC press conference, it's on ESPN Plus or on YouTube. If you want to find a UFC match, it's on ESPN Plus, and you're paying an extra $60 on top of it.
But you bring up the sponsors. So let's say they piss off a WWE sponsor. Who's to say that Endeavor's like, hey, we know you already sponsored the UFC. Would you like more publicity and sponsor us over here at the WWE as well? And now they just replace that sponsor that they may or may not have lost. We can do this dance and go round and round, and there's many different outcomes. It's the goddamn multiverse. Every time you make one idea or you make one scenario, it branches off into these 5 different ones, and then those 5 different ones branch off into their 5 different ones. So there's many different avenues we could take. I think they're all very valid points. It's just, it's a fancy way of saying, we don't fucking know.
We really don't know. I mean, my best educated guess is that it would be something about the advertisers or sponsorships, because if MJF went off on someone provocatively, I'm pretty sure Mattel, who makes their action figures and makes, other kids' toys, is going to be like, yeah, fuck this, we out. We're not gonna associate with someone who just said you look like crack cocaine. That's not. We don't want to be a part of that.
No, they'll just release the MJF action figure with a bag of baby powder. And it'll say not cocaine on it.
Yeah, not cocaine.
Either that or they'll just release them with a can of Coca-Cola.
There you go. No, it's just one of those things. Like I've really focused heavily on the business aspect of the professional wrestling business, on top of the actual storytelling and the in-ring work and everything. I have focused really heavily on the backstage stuff because it intrigues me, because you don't hear this shit about the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. This is not a point of conversation for those groups. For the WWE, it's any fan can talk about that and know what the fuck's going on. That's why I've always loved this business, because it's one of the most interesting businesses out there that isn't just cookie cutter.
That's fair.
Okay.
So what else we got, Matty boy?
Next. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I feel like but I feel like it's a topic that should be somewhat touched on. The releases.
God damn it.
No,
Kevin,
we're
you and
not
me are
going to
gonna
get
fucking
into the
argue.
drama aspect.
No, we're not.
No.
You don't think we're gonna argue?
Nope.
Okay.
Is there as a business part of this, we all know that it happens. Your favorite player Justin Tucker could get cut tomorrow.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. You shut up right now. Don't you dare take that man's name in vain.
Holy shit! Wow!
Boy,
And
I tell you
people
right
say
now, you
I'm
got a better chance.
passionate.
You got a better chance of playing checkers on a leopard's ass than coming after Justin Tucker. I'll fold your clothes while you're still in them. I'll put a nut on your head the Boy Scouts can't untie.
Holy shit!
I mean, there's no. Okay, Josh
Note
Allen
to
could be cut tomorrow from the. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs,
Okay.
Mike Knox, anyone from any professional franchise
Love it how he
could be
chose
cut.
all Bills players. Just all Bills players that he knew I wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, no one cares about the Buffalo
I named
Bills.
my son after Justin Tucker.
You named him Tucker?
Yes, my youngest son's name is Tucker. After
damn-
Justin Tucker.
I was trying to make a joke, damn it. I was really hoping you named him Justin.
Nope. My youngest son's name is Tucker. Named him after Justin Tucker.
That's funny.
But the main point is, we all know it happens. If you're not performing to the standards of the company, or you, in any job, you're going to be told, sorry, we're going to move on. It's a shitty part of life. So my job could walk in to my building tomorrow and say, hey, sorry, we're parting ways, we're done. They could do that to Cody. It's just a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have an emotional attachment to these people, because we see them every week on TV. I understand why we get a little bit caught up in that. Totally understandable.
Yep.
But we need to understand that this is a business as well. And why is Endeavor or WWE paying someone to sit back in catering all night and not be on TV for months at a time, but it's okay to pay them? To me, that's kind of a no-brainer. You get rid of them. Now, I'm going to jump right out in front of it and say that I don't believe that Dolph Ziggler and Shelton Benjamin should have been released. I think that they could have found something for them to do in the back.
Agreed.
They would be able to teach
You're not
the
supposed
younger
to eat
ones.
the bag.
Fuck you. I had to
Sorry,
open it.
Matt. I'm sorry, Matt.
No. I mean, he does look like. Oh, never mind. We're gonna just.
What? Then I look
leave
like
that
Ronald
alone.
McDonald fucked Grimace? Is that what you're gonna say? Like you said over 20 fucking times?
No, it was Ronald McDonald ate Grimace, but that's beside the point. No, I think that those two should not have been released. They should have been repackaged to help the company, instead of saying, you spent 20 years with us, but fuck you, you're done.
Man.
To me, that's where I have a problem with it. It's not that I'm a huge Dolph Ziggler fan or a huge Shelton Benjamin fan. I just think that they should have been given an opportunity to stick around and help the business and not just thrown. The rest of them, quite honestly, in 2 weeks' time, we won't even know who they were. Like, we won't. Who will remember Madcap Moss for anything but a bad end of a joke or a bad joke teller? Like,
Yep.
it's that kind of stuff. Chelsea Green, on the other hand,
Emma,
on the other hand, she was a botched opportunity. She has talent. She should have been more, but they just never did anything with her. And that's my opinion.
Go ahead, Cody.
So release it.
All they did was save about probably $1.5–2 million. That's all they did. I agree with everything you said. The only other point is that they saved probably $2 million, if that.
Okay, so I want to start off by saying that I have not addressed the releases. I never planned on addressing the releases. I had no desire. A few of the people that got released, yeah, I did know personally, and I texted them. We had personal conversations. That was about the extent of what I was going to go to. But I'll go and say this. Matt, you bring up a very interesting point. Why are we going to pay somebody to sit in catering and, collect a check for months on end and not be on TV? My retort to that is, let's say that you are not able to pay your rent. Let's say you're not able to pay your light bill, your car note, whatever the case may be, and you're handed a check for $1 million. Are you then going to take that check and set it in your underwear drawer and not use it for 3 months? If you have something that you know is going to make you money, like a Shelton Benjamin, like a Mustafa Ali, like a Dolph Ziggler, you're going to spend that fucking check. So for them sitting in catering, I think that's a company issue, not on them. That is not their fault.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they are able to make you money. You're just not letting them make you money. And then we take a look at. Hold on, there was some. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say about the releases. What I'm gonna say next is more about the wrestling fans, not so much the releases.
Okay.
It is okay to be upset about somebody getting released. It is okay to not give a fuck if somebody gets released. It is not okay to attack somebody over their opinion. It is an opinion, which means you don't have to agree with it. You can disagree with somebody and still be fucking civil. Renee, if you see this, I fucking love you. You know I love you. I message you regularly. We talk. We're friends. I fucking love Renee. She is one of the GOATs, and I will die on that fucking hill. She was making wrestling content for women when it wasn't okay for women to do it, and women were getting bashed at every fucking turn, and she took that shit in stride and handled it with class and still made content regardless of the hate she got. Anyway, it is okay for Renee to be upset that one of her favorites got released. It is okay for old dick-faced douchebag to be happy that he got released. But for dick-faced douchebag to attack Renee personally over an opinion that you don't have to agree with is fucking bullshit. Since when is it not okay for us to have an opinion? Since when is it okay for us to feel different? Not okay for us to feel differently than somebody else. I'll give you guys lesson 101 when it comes to TikTok, and I've been doing social media for a while, so I feel like I've got some stake in this to give this advice. If you don't like somebody's content, fucking scroll past it. Done. Why do we have to turn everything into a fucking fight? Why do we have to take this sport that we love and turn it into drama? Why do we have to continue to tear people down and berate people and tell them that they're stupid? And then in your next goddamn video, mental health is so important.
Right.
If you don't like somebody's content, scroll. I am 32 years old. Never in my life have I seen a video that I didn't like and be like, let me go to the comment section and tell them they're fucking stupid. I scroll past it. And here's another thing. If you hit those 3 dots, there's a block button that pops up, and you'll never have to see that person again. It's that fucking simple. But the problem is, everybody wants to be their kid's friend nowadays, and your parents didn't tell you your opinion doesn't fucking matter that much. Let people have their own opinions. Let people feel how they want to feel. If you want to engage in a debate That is fine. I love debating, but I do it respectfully, or at least I try to. And on those rare occasions where I do step out of the line, Matt, you know this. Cody, you know this. I'm the first one to apologize when I cross the line because I'm not perfect. I'm human like everybody else. And I've crossed the line numerous times, but I'm the first one to admit it. I'm the first one to hold my L, and I'm the first one to try to make myself better. If you want to have a debate, that's fine. Be a disrespectful little shithead is the fucking problem. I know I ran it for a while. I apologize. I said what I needed to say.
No, that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because
on my Twitch channel, I'm one other thing, and this isn't a plug, but on my Twitch channel, I always get people come in and they say, "Oh, I don't like this person," or "I disagree with you on this." And I always tell them the same thing. My channel is not the place you're going to go and get blocked if you disagree with me. I want you to disagree with me, because here's what happens. When you have a disagreement, this is what happens. This is why I love it so much. When you disagree with me, we're going to have a conversation, or at least I'm going to try to have a conversation. And then if you can present it to me in a way that I've never seen it before, or a way that I've never looked at it before, now I'm looking at it in a way that I didn't even think was a thing. Now I have a new appreciation for it. Now my love for pro wrestling has just grown even more. So how is it a bad thing to disagree with somebody? Wrestling is subjective. It means different things to different people. That's why we all have different favorite matches, different favorite wrestlers, different favorite promos. We're allowed to be fucking different. How boring would this be if we all agreed?
Exactly. And I've always said we're getting butthurt at each other. We're getting pissed off at each other. Or certain people are getting pissed off at each other over a sport that has a predetermined outcome.
There's a few people.
How stupid are we at that point?
There's a few people, very, very few people, that I will charge through the gates of hell for. Because especially there are some people that they're not mentally strong enough to deal with the negative comments, or they don't have time to deal with the negative comments. I got time. I was in the military. I was a police officer. I've done everything you could think of. I'm mentally strong enough to handle it. I got time. There's very few people that I would ride through the gates of hell for. Renee's fucking one of them.
Now, can I bring something up?
What's up?
Okay. Now,
what up, Scott?
I know. Good to know, Scott. Glad to know that things are getting better.
Hey, yo. I had to do the Scott Hall for Scott. I had to do
Yo.
You brought up that obviously a couple of your friends, I know that you're friends with AJ, who is top dollar in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
You probably hurt for him because, that's your friend. You don't want to see your friend lose your job. But if you and with Renee, you got to know AJ. You didn't really need to know top dollar. You got to know AJ. She got to know Nick Nemeth. So I can understand, and she was a fan before she got to really meet him and get to know him. And I understand that. But now she feels a certain sort of way because it's her friend losing their job.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a casual fan and you're the one starting the riots, you need to get your ass in check. There's no reason for a casual fan to get so butthurt about someone talking about the wrestlers losing their jobs to the point of people might harm themselves.
I disagree. I don't think anybody should harm themselves.
Well, yeah, we can all agree on that.
I think people are allowed to have their own opinions.
Agreed.
But even if you're just a casual wrestling fan, so I have a friend of mine who was very close with his father. Him and his father were inseparable. They did everything together. And they would sit down and they would watch wrestling together. And both of them really, really loved The Undertaker. That was their favorite wrestler. Well, unfortunately, they didn't have a lot of money. There wasn't a lot of family heirlooms. There wasn't a lot of things left for him to remember his dad by or anything like that. But one thing that they did was they watched wrestling, and they bonded over their love for the Undertaker. When the Undertaker retired, when the Undertaker retired, now 3 years before the Undertaker retired, my friend's father passed away.
Right.
Passed away from cancer. Very painful, very heartbreaking to watch his body just quit on itself.
Right.
Just deteriorated. Lost hair, basically withered away.
Yep.
It was a very hard thing to sit back and watch.
It is.
But when his father passed, one of the things that still made him feel that connection is when the Undertaker would come out and wrestle, when the Undertaker would cut a promo, when the Undertaker would be there. It made him feel for just a split second that his father was still sitting next to him, that they were still watching wrestling. So when the Undertaker retired and he knew he wasn't going to have that anymore, he broke down because for him, he was losing a piece of his father all over again. He never talked to the Undertaker. He never met the Undertaker, never had an Undertaker autograph, nothing. Had Undertaker action figures, but that was about it. Me and a buddy of mine, we raised money to buy him the Undertaker Legacy belt. So he has that now. But before that, literally nothing. He was a casual fan. But he had that connection that really made him hurt when the Undertaker stepped away. So for those reasons, I say I disagree. Again, I don't think anybody should ever harm themselves. And I don't think anybody should harm themselves. And if anybody listening to this is going through something like that or knows somebody going through something like that, you can simply dial 988 from any cell phone. It'll take you to the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and there are people waiting to talk to you. There are people waiting to get you to the resources you need to be in touch with. There are so many people that are waiting and willing to talk to you. 988 from any cell phone in America will take you directly to the Suicide Prevention Hotline. I'm a big proponent for this. So I knew that right offhand. Reach out for help if you need it. Asking for help doesn't make you weak.
No, it doesn't.
So I don't think anybody should ever harm themselves. But I do think under certain scenarios, people do have that connection, even if they are just a casual fan.
Right. Now, and I can agree with that to a point. But the point I was trying to make is that, like, how can I put this? You brought up the point of everybody, if everybody was the same, this would be boring.
Absolutely.
But yet, those are the types of people who say something that everybody will agree with. Those are the ones that gets like the video views, the likes, the comments, shit like that. Because they're saying the general consensus, and it's like 50,000 people will say the same general consensus, and they all get the same amount of views. But if one person says something controversial, it's all hell breaks loose, and it's against the norm, and no, you can't say that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, and here's why that happens. Because exactly what I said after that. Scroll past the fucking video. The reason people that do hot takes get the views, the likes, the clicks, the comments, they do it knowing it's gonna inspire a reaction. It's gonna cause that reaction. If you don't like it, scroll past it, and I promise you, because that's what they're doing it for. They're doing it for likes and clicks. If you rob them of the likes and clicks, they're not gonna do it anymore.
Right.
The people who are being the people who are making statements that people agree with, you watch the video and go, yeah, that's very true. Then you scroll to the next video. But a person who says something you don't like, oh, this motherfucker, let me give him a piece of my fucking mind right now. This sack of shit. And you leave the comment. And you save the video so you can go back to it and keep watching the comments. And then you reply to those other comments. Scroll past the video.
That's the thing. I'll watch a lot of videos, and even if I don't like them, I'll still, like, I'll watch it and be like, this was stupid, and then scroll past it. I'm not going to leave a comment. I'm not going to leave a like. I'm not going to favor it. You know, I'm not going to do any of that. But I was just like, this was stupid, and then scroll past it.
And if everybody did that, the stupid shit would go away. But people entertain the stupid shit because as much as people want to say, And do you guys ever realize, or have you guys ever noticed, I very rarely say the word Wrestletok.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that word.
Really?
I spit on that word because it's built on fucking lies. Not everybody who uses it. I'm not talking about the people who use it. But Wrestletok in and of itself is a fucking lie. Oh, we want you to be a part of the community. We want you to share your opinions. We want you to talk about wrestling. And then the moment they do, they get torn down and berated for it.
Yeah, and it has
Because
more
as much as
divisions in
people
the
say they want to be
NWO.
inclusive, as much as people want to say they want to talk and they want to have difference of opinions, no, they don't. They just want more people they can start fights with. That's why I don't submit to the Wrestletok fucking shit.
Who started it? Who started using that word?
The first person I remember using it is a piece of shit whose name I'm not going to say.
I can only imagine. That's
I'll
a
say this.
plethora of people.
I'll say this. We were in a battle royal together and I eliminated him. He's got a channel on Twitch where he had a bunch of people come work for him and he took all the money and did none of the work.
Got it.
Yeah, because said person had B-roll start a whole line of clothing, and they raised a shit ton of money for suicide prevention. I remember that.
But anyway, he was the first person that I heard use it. Now again, I want to be very clear when I say this. People like Self-Bet, who use the term Wrestletok. People like Wheezy, who use the term Wrestletok. These are people I would ride through the gates of hell for. Agreed. I don't have a problem with people who use it or who claim they're a part of it. I have a problem with it as an institution, I guess.
Yeah.
As an institution.
Because it's built on lies.
Let's be honest, half of them should be institutions.
For the majority of people that use it, they say, oh, we want you to join the community. And I used to do it a lot. Join the Wrestletok community. Use this hashtag. Make your videos. I want to see them. And then I saw these people joining Wrestletok, as many air quotes as I could fucking use. And the moment they make their first video, they get absolutely berated. Women get berated for simply not having a penis. And it drove me fucking crazy. Why would I want people to join that kind of community? Why would I want to be the reason somebody joins a community where they just get bashed and beaten and torn down and nobody gives a fuck? That's why I stopped using it. Yeah, I'll use the hashtag, but very rarely I say wrestling fans or I say something other than Wrestletok because it genuinely hurts me to say that word.
The way you just described that sounds like Nazis. I was like, that's interesting.
I mean, the institution, seriously, like a good 75% of them do need to be institutionalized with the way they fucking treat people.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest issue. Like
why can't we just be good people?
Well, when I mentioned in my video last night, because I was just been struggling. I didn't yell, I didn't cuss, I just was really frustrated because a year ago, or about a year and some change ago, when I started becoming more of a creator and like making videos, everyone got along. There wasn't this, I hate you because you have this opinion. There wasn't the hatred.
It's because you came in right when, I'm not trying to cut you off, but this is a pattern I've noticed. You came in right at a time where some real heavy drama just went down. And that's the pattern of Wrestletok. Either drama's going on, drama just finished, or drama's about to start. It's a never-ending cycle. You came in at a time, and I believe it's the one that I started when I outed a certain person for talking to kids. So everybody was united about that because we all can agree that pedophiles are bad. So everybody kind of agreed on that. and it united everybody. But then when everything was going good, now we got to find something to be mad about. Now we got to find something to get upset about. And the cycle started all over again.
Well, Cody must be having technical difficulties, but no, I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's eating itself from the inside, it feels like. That's seriously, like, it just feels like we can't, like, I go back to the way it was before Wrecked by Wrestling. Before he left, it was really calm. Everyone was having fun. Everyone was getting along. There wasn't any, from the time that idiot did what he did to
Talking about the first one or the one we were just talking about?
The one we were just talking about.
Okay.
No, the one that you took care of on a personal basis.
Okay. I got you.
So from that one until Wrecked left, it was about a 6 to 7 month period. Things were great.
Yeah.
It was I mean,
people were growing. People were following each other. People were liking and commenting and sharing.
It's getting to the point.
When do you think the downfall actually happened?
Turn your phone sideways, you jabroni.
Sorry. My phone overheated.
In my opinion, the downfall happened when it became, and this isn't shots fired at the PWC, but when the PWC started growing, that's when shit got, when it became a competition and people were out for trying to make themselves better than the next person. That's when, in my opinion, it started kind of doing a slow nosedive. That's my opinion.
Okay. I mean, my personal take on the whole
competition
thing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm not saying competition is a bad thing because
it's absolutely not. Competition.
To call back to what Kevin said earlier. I mean, to piggyback off of what Kevin said earlier, iron sharpens iron. 100%. If I like what Kevin's doing, I want to try to like up my game and get to the next level. And that's how it should be. But once you get money and trying to once you start trying to bash this person because they're doing this, instead of saying, all right, time for me to. Yeah,
that's why I don't go after creators. I don't go after anybody. I just say controversial shit for the sake of saying controversial shit because it's partially what I believe. Like the one that gets everybody pissed off is that I say that, there's always like a group of 3 that run each generation. Warrior Savage Hogan, Brett Michaels Taker, Cena Batista Orton, the Shield would be this generation. And then for the Attitude Era, Austin, Rock, Sable. That's the one that gets people pissed off because, like, how could you not put Triple H in that? Because Sable was the one that was drawing more male eyes to the company at the top of the hour, so that when the main events happened, they were like, "Oh, I like The Rock," or "Cool, I like Austin," and then more people, more males were, starting to see.
That is statistically incorrect. If you go back to that, statistically, you can't argue with it. If you pull up the ratings from the Attitude Era, because you're referring to back when all they cared about were tits and ass and hair pulling and shit, because that's what Sable did. Let's be honest.
Correct.
If you go back and watch those ratings, yes, those were some of the highest viewed segments of the night. But if you look at the segments that followed, there was a drastic decrease in viewership. So they weren't getting people to stick around and watch the product. They were getting people to tune in for theirs. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. But to say that they held people to watch other stuff is statistically incorrect.
Well, I wouldn't say they held the entire group that Sable pulled in, but I'd say 5% every time.
Okay, that's a little bit more accurate because the number. So if you go, because I used to be obsessed with like ratings back when ratings actually mattered for something. Ratings
Right.
don't matter now because people watch shit on Hulu, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You can't get an accurate rating poll today. You can't.
No, God, no.
And even reactors like myself who watch it on Twitch, people watch our show and don't watch the actual show. They're not getting account for those ratings. But when you go back, let's just say you had 100 people watching, and then Sable came on and pranced around in a skimpy outfit. Now you have 300 people watching. And then after that, you have 150 people watching. You still have 50 more than you started out with.
Right.
But they weren't drawing like massive numbers like Rock and Austin were.
Well, I'm saying like the reason that Rock and Austin were getting those higher numbers by the time the Attitude Era ended was because of Sable. At the beginning. Because they were everybody was starting to see what Rock and Austin were doing by the end of 98. And then once 99 came around, it was just more or less, oh, we actually like watching this. We don't just need to watch tits and ass. We can actually enjoy the entire product.
I get what you're saying. I just I don't know if I completely agree with it. But again, like I said earlier, we don't have to agree.
Right. Which, by the way, I would go 5 rounds in the octagon with Brock Lesnar just to sniff Sable's panties. All I'm saying.
Your wife must be so proud.
She really isn't.
Wow, the look of utter disappointment on Kevin's face just it makes my day.
You're telling me that if you didn't have a chance to
Because
do something
I share the
with
same
someone, you wouldn't take it?
Huh?
What?
You're saying, like, who is, like, the top female that you wish you could get with just for, like, a night?
My wife.
My wife, yeah.
Okay, other than the correct answer.
My wife.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I can admit that other females are attractive. I can say that other females are very good looking. But my wife will
Right.
always be the most attractive person in the world to me.
well, there you go.
Now it's just awkwardly quiet.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I like the awkwardness. The awkwardness is what keeps me alive.
She heard me talking about her. She heard me talking.
So,
Oh, I love it.
we're getting to the point where we got about 15 minutes left, and then the feed over on WSPN is done. We get it for an hour and a half. So,
Yay.
Do you have any? Oh, I know you don't because you don't have any shows because you were fired.
Yeah, that's right. I was fired, quote unquote fired.
Unceremoniously fired for dropping words that you're not supposed to say on
Can
TV.
I say those words on here? Like, can I say them on? No, I can't.
No.
That's sad. Well, if you
Because
want
I
to
will
hear the
say-
words that I said for why I got fired, go to my TikTok at Cordy Cornett. You'll enjoy the whole thing.
Hey, Matt. My wife just called me and I need to jump off. I've had a lot of fun talking to you guys. It's been great. Hopefully we get to do it
will
again
see you
soon.
next week.
But I got to I'm on the phone with my wife.
You do you, bud. Have fun.
I'll see you next week.
As long as my wife is working, I will be here on Wednesday.
Cool.
Bye, Kevin. It was good talking to you.
All right, see you guys.
We'll see you
later. I love talking. I love Kevin.
Kevin is the one guy, is the one creator who you could point blank look him straight in the eye and say this, this, and this, and if he doesn't like what you said or agree with what you said, which is more often than not gonna happen.
See, Kevin is so nice that if he was robbing a hooker, I would help him rob the hooker.
I wouldn't go that far. Because the dude's a pit bull and will rip your face off at a drop of a hat if he has to.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like he's a nice guy. I'm saying I think he's that nice of a guy.
All I had to say is Justin Tucker should be released.
You picked on his team. What did you think? You can't pick on the Dolphins. Can't pick on the Dolphins right now. They're 70-20 going into the next fucking game. So.
Yeah, they were also playing a college team. I'm pretty sure.
Practically. Fuck. Who is it? The Bears and.
Bears and Broncos this week. If you guys want to watch that game.
In England. In England.
Is it?
I think so.
That can't be right.
The Jacksonville game's at 9:00 in the morning.
Yeah, thank God.
And they're doing a Toy Story thing with it, and I'm like, why? This is great.
That's weird. It's so weird. What a world we live in today.
Although Broncos Bears, winner of that game doesn't go to the XFL, so.
Broncos. That was a good video. I think really, if you think about it, the winner of that game is going to be the ultimate loser because they're going to have one win and they're going to end up with the number 2 pick. So.
You really think that whoever loses that game is just going to lose out and become the number 1 draft pick?
Oh yeah.
Won't they be the most valuable team then? Whoever loses that game?
Not really, no. If you lose out, you got that number 1 pick. Oh, but you still.
You can trade that number 1 pick.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this draft class, and I don't think it's going to be worth any. Like, there's no one out there that really goes, "Oh my God, I gotta have them."
That's fair.
Well, I guess if you're Chicago, you're hoping that you lose and then lose out,
right?
Because you could draft Caleb Williams.
There you go.
That quarterback from USC, or Bo Nix from Ohio or from Oregon.
So, am I going to be doing another one of these where we actually talk about Shawn Michaels?
Yes, we will. We kind of got like, well, because I didn't want to throw Kevin in.
No, that's fair.
Into a situation where he didn't have anything ready. Although I'm sure if I said, "Hey, we're going to talk about Shawn Michaels for an hour," he'd be like, "Okay, I can do that."
Yeah.
The guy's a goddamn walking encyclopedia. I love it.
So am I. I actually would love to challenge his knowledge against mine one day.
Maybe we can make that happen on a episode, like a season 3 episode. We're gonna have Knowledge Bowl, bitches.
Oh God.
So anyway, guys, this is gonna be towards the end of the show. Don't forget to tune in Friday at 1:15 Eastern Standard Time, where my brother and I will have our first special guest of the Huge Pop sports broadcast, Darren Madeley, former NCAA division or NCAA hockey champion. He played multiple years in the NHL for the Ottawa Senators and the San Jose Sharks. He's just an all-around good guy. He also is currently the dean of students and head hockey coach for I have it written down. It's in my notes, but for a high school, a prep school in Chicago, in the Chicago area, and he recently this past year won his 500th game.
Oh wow!
As a head coach. So, and he's a guy that I grew up watching, going to his games at Lake Superior State University. He's just been a really cool dude, and can't wait to talk to him.
Sounds good. Can't wait to watch.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Cody, for stopping by. Thank you, Heel Kevin, if you're still out there listening. I appreciate you. Got nothing but love for you, brother. You as well, Cody, even though you test my patience sometimes. And
do I really test those patients?
I mean, you kind of do. And hey, Logan Paul, if you can I get a couple of these? My son loves them.
The fuck? Like, why don't I have a bottle?
And it's the same one Kevin had.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, did you just get sponsored by Prime and you're not telling me? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
I mean, I'd love to be sponsored by Prime myself, but anyway. Thank you guys. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, my mom and dad stopped in, and appreciate everyone that's watching, and got nothing but love for y'all.